was going through a tough time, and he almost committed suicide. And he said, just think of this now, like, this is amazing. He was in his bedroom or in a room by himself. He had just taken the safety off, and his wife walked through the door and stopped him.
Wow.
And that's just like, you think about it being an act of God, that his wife walked.
Welcome back, everyone. Craig and Jonah here today. How are you, Jonah?
Pretty good.
We're both looking a little grizzly, but we're smiling, right?
That's right. That's all that matters.
Yeah, right.
So the other day, I ran into a friend, and so we see each other a few times a year. And we were just talking, and all of a sudden, he goes, I don't even know why you wanted to talk to me about this, but he just said it.
You're just like a magnet for people to open up.
I don't know. And for whatever reason, people do. But he said to me, he goes, a few months ago, he was going through a tough time, and he almost committed suicide. And he said, just think of this now, like, this is amazing. He was in his bedroom or in a room by himself. He had just taken the safety off, and his wife walked through the door and stopped him.
Wow.
And that's just like, you think about it being an act of God, that his wife walked through at that very moment.
Wow.
It's just disturbing to me, though, because I know the guy really well, and you would never know it, like that he was carrying that much pain. And it's been bothering me every day since I heard about it.
And he told you this.
Yep. And it just makes you, you think about all the stuff people carry, and you never know it. Like, you would never know it. And it just really hit me deep. And so, I just told him, I said, well, I'm glad, we're all glad that your wife walked in,
Did she figure out what was going on?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So.
Hope we get some help.
Yep. I didn't ask him about that. It wasn't the place for me to really ask too many questions, but yeah. And it just makes you wonder how often God signals you to do things like that. And do you do it or do you not? Like, do you take the call? Do you receive the call and do what you're supposed to do? Or do you think, I'm just going to blow it off? Because, like, for me personally, when something weird happened, I was sleeping.
That's weird.
Yeah, in a house full of kids. No, and I had this dream about this girl that she was just in a circle of friends that we hung out with in college. But it was a very vivid dream. And she said my name, and she goes, you're the only one that can help me. Pray for me. And so, like, it woke me up. It was so vivid. It woke me up out of a dead sleep at like 3 a.m. And I started praying the Chaplet of Divine Mercy.
Did you wake Dolores up? Say, hey, we got to pray.
No,
we got to pray for this girl I was just dreaming about.
Yeah, this girl from college. No, but I prayed for her, fervently, and because it was a really intense dream, and I had no way of contacting her. But then I did reach out through friends, and everything was okay with her at that time. But it was just a really weird dream, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to do that or not. But I did pray for her. But every day there's little things where you might have an inkling that you should do something for that person, or you should say hi, and maybe that's all it takes. For somebody that's like my other friend who was just, in a real tough situation, maybe just doing things like reaching out and texting and saying, hey, how's it going? Like, how many times does that happen where you think, oh, I should text this person, and then you don't?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Is that a whisper of God in your head?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but it has disturbed me so much that I can't stop thinking about it.
Praying for them.
Yeah. So. But yeah, and so then I started thinking about it more, and I looked up reasons men, try to commit suicide, and then I got put on some like suicide list or whatever, like on my phone, like we're getting all these flashing things about it. And it's like, I just want to know the stats.
Right. Right.
But they tend to be the major things as far as like relationship issues, loved one dying, loss of a job, that sort of thing. So
life's hard.
Life is hard. It is really hard. And you just never know what is going to be something that either helps somebody or hurts somebody.
This guy's married. He's got
Yeah,
family.
married and family.
Yeah. You know, the fact that we carry these burdens, and probably his wife didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think she knew that it was like to that, because he was going through a very difficult time that she knew about, just in general. But, I don't think she would have known that it would get that far.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. So like when we were going through a difficult time in our marriage, like it's not like I was suicidal or anything like that, but I earnestly prayed for death because it was just that difficult. And nobody knew it around me. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody, people would say, like, just how they like hear me laugh, or, just how happy I was. But really, I was carrying a lot.
Did Dolores know?
Oh, I don't know. Not about that, like not. She was going through her own issues at that time too. So
yeah,
when you're not intimate for that long, it just puts a strain on everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure.
So, but yeah. So I don't know. Be kind to everybody that you see. Just listen to those kind of inklings, I think.
Yeah, I was not kind to someone this weekend.
What happened?
I got into
on Twitter?
No.
Real life?
My neighbor and I got screaming at each other. I haven't dropped that many F-bombs in a while.
Oh, at the neighbor. You're a calm guy.
Yeah. Tell me about it. It takes a lot to get me to really unload. So we live in the country. And we've had an ongoing problem with our family dog, who likes to go up, wander through the neighbor's yard, and he likes to mark his territory.
Okay.
Which has bothered them.
Okay.
But he started doing this.
Is it just number one or number two?
Both.
Oh, okay. Well, I get it.
I get it. Like I totally get the annoyance.
If he's just peeing on the bushes.
No, and he goes up there and he like pees on the corner of their patio furniture and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it started.
I see the case mounting.
Yeah. Now, in the dog's defense, and maybe not my defense, but in the dog's defense, the prior owners, who was her dad, had no problem with it. He loved. He invited the dog up there, and he loved the dog and didn't care. Well, then he passed away. He was elderly, and then the daughter came in, and then it's not okay anymore. But the dog doesn't know any different, so he's in a habit. So he's been trying to keep him locked up. But he's got to go out sometimes. He's got to go out and go to the bathroom, and the kids let him off, and then he's up doing his thing. And she was screaming the other day. So I get a text message from her. So this is how these things start. Sorry, ladies, you're going to have to listen to me complain about the ladies a little bit here, okay? But I get a text message from her, and he and I have gotten along okay.
Mm-hmm.
But she's just an unhappy person, I think. And so she texts me and says, your dog was up again, needs to stop. I'm like, I'm really sorry. We've been trying really hard. Whatever, which we had been. I thought he had been good. I heard about the one incident where he went out, but it seemed like it had been more or less, because she's left some pretty nasty messages with me, and I just ignore them.
About the dog, huh?
Which, again, this is another layer to this. My wife has complained to me that I haven't pushed back more when I get these messages. She would, I don't know, she wants me to stand up for us or whatever in the past. So
the dog is in their yard.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I totally get their point.
I mean, what if they get a dog and it comes out and craps in your yard?
Right. So in the past, my wife has been annoyed that I didn't really push back at the neighbor lady, right? So in the back of my mind,
she could push back too.
Yeah, I invite her to, but no, it's you do this, right? You know how they do that.
Yeah,
you need to go.
Do this.
You need to go chew this person out, right?
I've got enough going on.
Yeah. So I didn't. So I just kind of let it go. And I said, let's try and keep the dog locked up. I said, what if we build a fence for her? No, that wouldn't be right. So I was in this impossible situation. The kids like the dog. My wife won't let me put up a fence, like a penned in area. But we had more or less taken care of the situation. And then he must have gotten out last week and was up there. And my wife said she came home and she was up there screaming at the dog. This was like Thursday.
Okay.
So Sunday, she must have been stewing about it for a few days. And so she texts me and was very angry and says, your dog was up here again. You need to make him stop. I'm like, I'm sorry. We've been trying. I guess I'll have to keep him caged up. I said, but for future reference, what would you like me to do when your dog comes on our yard and does the same thing? So she said, I would like to know that. I'm like, ask your husband. He sees it all the time.
Oh, gosh, get him in trouble.
And I was like, at that point, I didn't care. I was like,
now we're getting to the nuclear level.
Yeah. So I knew what was coming. So I said,
going to get him involved.
And she's going to be like, you go down there. So just listen. So it plays out exactly the way you would expect. So I told her that. And then probably 10 minutes later, he comes kind of waddling down. He's kind of a big guy, so he doesn't march. He kind of waddles. Comes down, and my wife's like, here he comes. I'm like, all right. And so I was sitting there cooking my lunch. So it was literally on the stove. I walked out, and he's like, hey, can we talk now? I'm like, actually, I'm making my lunch right now. He's like, I don't care if you're making your lunch. I'm like, well, I kind of do care. So he came down, but he's like, I don't, like, he didn't ask if we could talk. This is a good time. He's like, we're going to talk. She's clearly sent him down.
Probably watching.
Right. She was. And so very quickly, he started chewing me out about the dog. And I said, what do you want me to do? And I said, get off my property.
Oh.
And then he just started unleashing on me, calling me all kinds of names that I won't repeat on here. And I started doing the same thing to him. I can't
believe that.
Yeah, and then I pulled out my phone. I got it. I could probably play for you. I recorded the last part of it. He kept calling me a-hole over and over again. He's going to call the cops. I'm like, well, what are the cops going to do? You're on my property. Get off my property. So he's kind of waddling away. And then she starts screaming up there in the background. And then he's like, you come over here and I'll show. I'm like, what are you going to do to me, buddy?
Wow, so he tries to fight you.
He does. Like this guy should not be fighting me. Yeah.
Considering your neighbors.
Yeah. So at that point, we're sitting there like yelling at each other, and he's kind of slowly walking away, and I'm using a lot of improper words, but at that point I was mad. And
the kids are up?
They were in the house, they could hear it. My wife comes out and she screams at both of us to stop. And then I get chewed out later on because why'd you do that? I'm like, the last time you got mad at me for not standing up, and I stood up. So what am I supposed to do? So that kind of annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah, that is.
Because I've been chewed out. I've been chewed out for not getting angry enough about the situation. So here, I got angry. Now you're mad at She's like, well, what are we gonna do? They're our neighbors. So I'm like, well. So see, he goes back, and I'm sure he is like, she made him go down.
Yeah.
And then he went back. See.
Yeah. You're both in a weird situation.
Yeah. Because like I said,
just let the wives handle this.
Yeah. Like I said, you want to start texting her back? And then she came to, well, and she was kind of, she didn't apologize. Like, oh, I feel bad. It didn't want to come to this. And I'm like, well, what did you think was going to happen? So we ended up working out. Actually, my wife's dad is going to take him, which is going to be really good. Her dad is elderly, the dog is elderly, and they can just sit there and yap at each other.
So now you can just complain to your neighbor when their dog poops in your yard.
Yeah, when she's like, well, our dog will never be on your yard again. I'm like, I didn't care, I still don't care what your dog does. That's the difference.
Why not an invisible fence?
Well, you got to bury it. And
No,
stuff.
all you do is plug it in the wall.
Yeah, we have one. We have one of those, but we had gotten one of those, but I don't know that we could train him. And the problem is, he's gonna want to follow kids out, and if I go
Yeah,
down and stuff. So like, it's not.
they figure it out. Like, so our dog has one, and he knows when we call him that he can come with us because it's off. And
Oh, okay.
so
That's what I was concerned about, is the mixed signals and stuff. Because sometimes when I go down and cut wood, yeah, come along, dog.
yeah,
And did you kind of train him at an early age?
they figured it out right away.
Okay.
No,
Well, I should have done that.
like that thing, I put it on. I tried it myself. Like,
Mhm.
it'll stop you in your tracks.
Okay.
Like,
Dolores would probably like that. Huh?
yeah, she has threatened me with stuff like that
Mhm.
sometimes, but I haven't woken up with it on my neck yet. So.
Or anywhere else.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's unfortunate because I should have, but I mean, I personally, I felt like I had no real options, because like I was willing to put up a fence, the dog could be around, but my wife said no to that. Not entirely sure why, but reasons aren't always offered.
They're just yes or no.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't have to justify it.
Right. No one's
Marriage is funny.
Yeah, no one wants to take this dog, other than, I mean, it's a perfect fit for my father-in-law, but other than that, no one's going to want it. Like, I can dispose of the dog, but no one wants to do that.
Aren't the kids going to miss the dog?
Yeah, they're upset, but I'm like, at least it's a grandpa, so we can, go see him once in a while. I see you can FaceTime him. But you know what? Kids don't play with dogs. Like, they all want a dog, but none of them actually spend time. Like, I'm the one that spends time with the dog. And
the actual.
So anyway, it's unfortunate. It's going to be an awkward relationship with the neighbor now, but I don't know. I just felt it didn't matter. I was damned if I do, damned if I don't when it comes to dealing with the dog and the neighbor and my wife. I'm just like, what do you want? You're not. It doesn't matter what I do. You're not happy about it.
So do you think you'd be able to smooth it over with the neighbors to like where you can be normal?
Probably. I don't know. We'll see.
That's wild. I've never had a conflict like that, I don't think, with anybody.
I'm just imagining you getting into a F-bomb fight with your Amish neighbor. Is he like cursing in German and stuff then, or what?
Yeah, it hasn't happened. No.
Your neighbors are a lot farther away than mine
It's
are.
true.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure. I mean, but actually, we weren't like chummy at all, really, at all. Like, they're just different people, and I'm a different people. So
that's fine.
Yeah, I actually don't think. I think not being super chummy with your neighbors is okay.
Yeah,
because then boundaries are less likely to get crossed. The dogs don't know that though.
Yep.
But I don't know. Whatever. Like, I wish in hindsight I would have just. But I don't know that my wife would have agreed to get rid of the dog had this not happened. So whatever.
It's one less thing for you to take care of. So
yeah, I've been ready to get rid of it. Like, we're not having another dog. Give him more food, maybe put on some weight. I don't know. So yeah, so I was pretty fired up.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised.
Have you ever yelled at anybody like that before? Like,
other than my wife?
Oh yeah, I wasn't counting marital debates.
Yeah. Boy, not like that. Not like actual anger and cursing. Like, that's pretty unusual.
Yeah, I can't ever recall a time for myself either.
Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully the next one's in another 40 years.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So I guess pray for the situation.
Yep.
So, well, how on the better topics, how's PMAS in your love life, Jonah?
Things are picking up. We went through a bit of a dry spell there between all the traveling, and then we kind of got sick and just busy, and so it'd been, a few weeks or whatever since we had time for each other, but thankfully we're back on track, and it's just amazing how even after just 3 weeks, it just weighs you down. Like it's just life isn't the same.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but it's fine for my wife. You know, she has said, "Well, it's only been 3 weeks."
Holy dude. It feels like an eternity,
it does feel like
doesn't
an
it?
eternity.
Oh.
And I don't know why it has to be like that, or why God would set it up like that, where you're only with one woman, but she's less interested than like it's just a priority thing, really. Like I think she's happy if it happens, but if it doesn't, she's fine doing the laundry.
I'm the same way with ice cream. Like,
yeah,
if you put a nice, ice cream sundae in front of me, or like we always get ice cream cake for our kids' birthdays, and that little like chocolate layer in the middle.
Yep, that's my favorite too.
I love that. Just throw the rest of the way. Just give me a bowl of that, right? And I enjoy it when we do it, but I don't think about it any other time. I'm like, I don't crave that any other time, but I really enjoy it when it's there.
It's funny. It probably is the same way.
It is. And my wife loves ice cream cake. Like she would literally do that you have that every day.
Boy, isn't that funny how that's reversed, but it's just how it is.
Yeah. So to the point where it's amazing. Like ice cream is like if like she craves it. Like if it's in the freezer, I have to physically restrain her from grabbing it.
How often is ice cream in the freezer? Or maybe it doesn't last long when it's there?
It's regular, and she's like, don't ever get ice cream again. And then the next time at the store, would you get some ice cream? You sure? Because you told me the last time not to get any more. I know, but I need some today.
Listen to me now.
I need some today. Damn it, I told you not to get ice cream.
Lay off me, I'm starving.
Yeah, right? I mean, seriously, it's on the same level.
So do you think like once a week ice cream? Like, do you think ice cream is more frequent than intimacy?
Oh gosh, yes.
That's funny because in our house, intimacy is more frequent than ice cream, probably. My wife isn't an ice cream person. But...
Wow. No, yeah, without a doubt. Like, without a doubt.
That is funny.
So, maybe that's what I got. I got to like spread ice cream all over myself or something. I don't know. That seems like kind of a mess.
Take some work.
Yeah.
Could do maybe an ice cream cone thing.
Yeah. Go down to the local adult store and say, hey, I need some ice cream props. You got any of that?
Oh gosh.
They're really like, well, we got chocolate syrup or something probably, but
I haven't been in one of those kind of stores for like 25 years. Not quite 25, 20 some. Yeah.
Seems like the internet should have pretty much replaced all that, but
you would think so. You're right, discreet.
Yeah.
And anonymous.
That's right.
In case you want to walk down there and check it all out and ask questions.
Yeah.
Sure, they have great customer service in those places.
Just, I don't know. I can't even imagine walking into one of those places.
Looking to see if anybody knows you or
go down in disguise. How would you not?
People aren't as prudish as you, Craig. I think that's really what a lot of it is today. It's like people really don't care.
Yeah, and I'm the guy that has a podcast about all this stuff, and so, yeah. So the PMAS, I don't know why it sucks so bad. Like, and I asked myself, am I just exaggerating? Like, am I just? But no, like, it just weighs you down.
It does. Life is less enjoyable. Like, and I don't know why. I can't fight it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but like, like Dolores is like, you just seem grumpy lately. What's going on? And it's like, but I don't want to tell her that either. Like, I don't tell her what's really going on. Right. It seems stupid.
So okay. So
I even think it's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a hard time talking to her about that at all?
Not really, but I don't want her to feel like, got this grump here that, you got to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have the same. I mean, I don't know what to do in that situation.
because I know that even though there's probably other factors for my grumpiness too, sometimes, just life is busy and you get kind of worn down. But that's the ultimate cure all. I mean, works every time, every time.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it seems like God's magic Band-Aid. It's like the
but you can only get it with your wife. So that's kind of a problem.
Yeah. Why is it set up that way?
Yeah.
Why is it so elusive?
Yeah. It feels like in order to be functioning optimally, you really should be together at least once a week at minimum. I don't know how else to make it work, but then that's also virtually impossible, not including the rules with NFP.
So I'm reading a book. It's an audio book. Is it Napoleon Hill? Let me see here. It's a long book. It's A Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. And he talks in there. It's an older book. He was hanging around with like the Andrew Carnegie's and the Henry Fords of the world. It's all about like business mindset and coaching. And at different points, he said that the most successful, high succeeding men in history always had a very active and fulfilling sex life.
I'd believe it, without a doubt.
Right. And I think at some point he says that it makes or breaks men. Like it's rare for a man to be high functioning if he is frustrated in this part of his life.
I believe it. It takes a lot of bandwidth to deal with it.
Yeah.
Even after just 3 weeks.
It takes a lot of bandwidth during PMAS, and also everything is just firing on all cylinders the day after.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that's no joke.
No joke at all. You become invincible.
Yeah. However, yesterday on Twitter, I think it was yesterday, what was it? One of these NoFap guys.
Oh, they're so full of shit. Like I just don't believe in that at all.
So
it's not my experience.
The question was this was kind of a red pill conversation, but why should men delay getting married and stuff like that? And one of these NoFap guys had a big account, says, yeah, well, because when you're married, it's you're wasting your seed, and it's you're giving up your life energy and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, I don't know. That
holding in my life energy brings on tension and brain fog.
I don't understand how anyone functions at a higher level under those circumstances. Legitimately
maybe we haven't been able to break through to that level, but I don't know. It's just painful.
I mean, I'm genuinely curious in that whole concept. But all I know is I'm at my best when I'm not
worrying about that,
dealing with PMAS.
Yeah, I agree. Then you wonder, like the guy with the huge account, is he a faker? I mean, it's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, is he just an unhappy guy that can't, and this is his way of telling himself this is the better,
or he's just lying about it, and it's just like a lot of people.
Yeah,
I think if you don't live with a woman, or like your wife, you maybe can do it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm perplexed at let's say the non-Catholic guys.
You get the Catholic guilt.
I get the Catholic guilt. I get trying to follow 2352 and all that. I don't get the non-Catholic guy trying to like do all that to himself.
Yeah.
That just seems like the first thing you'd want to do as a non-Catholic guy, taking care of those problems. But
yeah, I suppose it's just like fasting.
Yeah, I don't know. It does seem like it's a weird way to set things up. when you make things so elusive, or it has to be a certain way and always has to be this way, and you can't be doing in it, you can't be tinkering in any other ways, you're using other parts of the body and all that. I'm just like, are we sure we got this right? Are we sure this wasn't God being like, this is such a good thing, I want to give you endless possibilities and endless ways of doing this because it's going to be so good for you and your relationship?
It is what holds people together, like without a doubt. If you have a healthy, intimate life, your relationship is going to be better than somebody that doesn't, or a couple that doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And the people that think that they're functioning at a high level, even though they're not intimate, I think they're fooling themselves. They go back to the Virgin Mary and Joseph, and I really don't like that argument, and it's impossible to say what was going on there. There was a lot of different graces that were given them that the average couple today probably doesn't have access to.
They had one child, and he was God.
Yeah, and your wife is sinless.
Yeah,
probably. She treated you extremely well all the time. I mean, that makes a difference too.
Yeah, it seems like a different set of very different set of circumstances
than the modern man is living with. It's true, but thankful the 3-week drought has ended. So,
oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, we were on a 1-week drought, but it was our.
Feel bad for you.
Well.
But it's supposed to be the time, right?
It's our time. And two nights in a row, we were foiled by a 2-year-old that wouldn't sleep.
Oh gosh, that's frustrating.
So, that was tough.
That is really tough. Did you had you started at any point, or was it just didn't work out at all?
Didn't even get the airplane out of the hangar. So
not like we used to talk about, get the rain delays.
Yeah. No. So, but finally, but it was getting towards the end of the quote unquote tactic. I mean, the Marquette method is funny. Like the hard and fast rules, you get 5 days at the beginning, and then, but if you have like 6 months, you could take your 6-month average peak day and go back so many days from that. So for us, that adds a couple of days. We're like literally at the end of that.
Ooh, pushing it.
So she was pulling out the extra test strips because I had assumed we were good to go. Oh. And she's like, because she's like, well, I'm going to go upstairs and read and stuff. I'm like,
nothing more romantic than
that. I'm like, well, what does that mean? And I'm like, so she's like, well, I'm testing right now. So I went in there. I'm like,
were you
nothing romantic than sitting in the bathroom, looking at the test strip, waiting for it to tell you whether you're safe or not.
Good to go. Yeah. Living dangerously though, right on the edge.
I think we're pretty.
How many days you got them between like the absolute last day and ovulation typically?
9 or 10 days.
Plenty okay. So you got some space there.
When we've gotten in trouble in the past, it's always because ovulation's been later than expected, never earlier.
Okay.
We'll see.
9 or 10 days though. That's a lot of buffer.
I mean,
you could even do it today then.
Yeah.
You can be persuasive.
Not that persuasive. Dave, I bring ice cream home.
Yep.
Honey. I got a deal for you. So otherwise, if nothing had been able to happen, we're looking at a 3.5-4 week abstinence period.
Oh gosh.
And I don't care who you are.
That's tough.
Yeah, unless I don't know, if you're a normal functioning man with a reasonably healthy system, it's a really long time.
Yeah. That's a really long time.
It's a long time whether you're following all the other rules or not.
Yeah. For whatever reason, you kind of need that with your wife. And that's something that I can't explain.
Yeah.
It's that important.
And it's
important to your relationship.
Yeah. And it does things that any of the other stuff doesn't do for you.
Yep. For whatever reason.
Yep. So it's not, I don't think it's really in danger of being replaced by anything else.
No, not at all.
No one's been able to figure out. I don't care
No.
about the dolls and all. No, I don't think anyone's figured out how to mimic that experience.
No, maybe with some of those AI dolls, but
yeah,
I don't know. Won't be any of those in our house.
Yeah.
Anytime soon, but
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be. I don't think the church is going to be okay with that anytime soon.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So,
no, and I mean, like the guys that do substitute porn for that, they're just doing it because their wife is pushing them away, essentially.
Yeah.
Like no guy really wants that.
No.
I mean, I'm sure there's some, but it's a minority.
I don't think many guys would choose that over with their wife, but I could see why guys.
Maybe it's really bitchy or demeaning.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I'm serious. Like then that could.
But I could see why guys would choose that over a really hostile wife or a complete absence of all stuff. Like I understand why guys fall into that trap.
Yep.
Doesn't make it right. Not condoning it. I know we get shoot out all the time. Oh, you got to condemn the sinners. Fine, we condemn. But
yeah, porn is not good.
But I understand why it happens.
Yeah.
Right. So.
No.
I don't know. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm into the desert here.
You got one drink of water before you left, huh?
Yeah, it was good. It's good, but it doesn't last near long enough. Like the aftermath, not the.
Yeah. I don't know why that is. That sort of invincibility only lasts a couple days.
Yeah, I wish I could bottle it up and.
It's kind of like in Super Mario Brothers when he gets that the star, it makes him invincible, but only for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, and they need a cheat code where they could. If I could feel like this all the time.
Yep.
Like, maybe Elon can figure out a way to mimic this?
It's true. He's our only hope.
Jeepers, come on.
It's true.
It would save a lot of trouble.
It would.
So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll get working on that. But yeah. So PMAS still sucks. Marital Act is still awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm on board.
Yeah. Anything else, Jonah?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, that was a lot of rambling. So anyway, if people aren't already doing, I'm putting some more stuff over on the Craig Onan channel. Some spicy stuff. I got some spicy stuff over there.
All right.
The idea is to make the Uncharted Catholic Man a little more, a little less controversial, and bring that stuff over to the Craig Onan channel. So you can say whatever you want over there.
Sounds good.
And I'll probably sing almost anything I want over there too.
All right.
If you really want that, come over there. So otherwise, appreciate everyone watching. Thank you, Jonah.
You bet. Thank you.
Till next time, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one.